What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to talk about Iran the Blade Barkley from the Bronx, New York. Lived off 168th Street. Very strong, powerful puncher. Used to run with the Black Spades. But Iran Barkley is underrated. Very underrated. Was born May 6, 1960 in the Bronx, New York. Stood 6 foot 1 inch and had a 74-inch reach. He was a middleweight. Had a fighting record of 63 fights, 43 wins, 19 losses, and 27 knockouts. Fought from 1982 to 1999. And I was at Iran Barkley's first fight in 1982 at Atlantic City. And I followed his career. Schoolboy Van Horn. He was in a ring with James the Heat Kitchen. And I got to tell you something. He fought Thomas the Hitman Hearns, 1988, Las Vegas, Nevada. I was in the second row of that fight. And he would capture the WBC middleweight championship belt. And the crowd couldn't believe what they were watching. Now, I've never thought in my wildest dreams this would happen. But I went out there to support both Thomas Hearns and Iran Barkley. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to get out. I said, what the heck, let me go to Las Vegas. And I got to tell you, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Iran Barkley threw an overhand right, looking at the floor, caught him right in the chin. And Thomas Hearns' eyes were glossy. I didn't think it would be over because I couldn't imagine this would happen. And he caught Thomas Hearns on the way down. I still thought Hearns had a chance. And when Iran Barkley's hands were raised as champion, I saw the belt go around his waist. It dawned on me. I'm looking at the middleweight champion of the world, a young man who I followed from the beginning. He had cuts over both eyes. He was losing. He was behind the fight. And he pulled out a miracle. It was incredible. But he would face Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran was once a lightweight champion. He defeated Ken Buchanan in 1972 when he moved up. And he would face the WBC welterweight champion, Sugar Ray Leonard. And that was an upset beyond upsets when he defeated Leonard in Montreal. But Roberto Duran came in at a last-minute replacement to face a young man by the name of Davey Moore. It was on Roberto Duran's birthday. It was at a Madison Square Garden. And Tony Ayala was the original opponent, but he got brought up on charges, so he went out and Roberto Duran stepped in. And he gave Davey Moore a boxing lesson beyond boxing lessons. So this fight would take place between Iran Barkley and Roberto Duran in Atlantic City. I was in the second row of that fight. It was on a Friday night, February 24th, 1989, the same year the great Sugar Ray Robinson would pass away. And Iran Barkley had a fighting record, I believe at that time, of 25-4-16. Roberto Duran had a record of 84-7-61. 61 knockouts. And that was a hell of a fight. That was some fight. Both men took it to each other. And I think what did it for Roberto Duran is when he dropped Iran Barkley. And we all stood up and we just couldn't believe what we were looking at. But Iran Barkley was some fighter. I mean, after 13 fights, he had a winning streak. He would lose to Sambu Colombe. Sambu Colombe was knocked out in the first round by Michael second to none. He was a very good middleweight. October 23rd, 1987. It was in the 10th round, unanimous decision. It's for the vacant WBA middleweight championship belt. He would face Michael Silk Elijah Day. Elijah Day had a fighting record of 25-1. So it felt for him. And what was amazing about that, it was on a Sunday, March 6th. 10 rounds. It was scheduled for. Arthur McCarthy Jr., I believe, was the referee. I was in the second row of that fight. And I remember Iran Barkley kept on heckling Michael Elijah Day in the gym, kept saying, there's no way in the world I'm going to let this Jerry Curl juice defeat me. And I remember him saying that over and over again. He said it to us, and we were just standing there laughing. And it turned out to be 5 rounds, technical knockout. Iran Barkley got dropped in the 4th And Michael Elijah was knocked down in the first round, and I believe he was stopped in the 5th round, and it was some fight between these two men. But Aaron Barkley fought fighters such as Stacy McSwang and Thomas Hearns, fought him twice, Trevor Berbick, Greg Payne, Darren Schoolboy Van Horn. I believe Van Horn was undefeated at that time. Nigel Benn. Aaron Barkley was dropped in the first round, and he was hit in the back of the head. They tried to protest it. But I don't think he would have beat Nigel Benn anyway. Nigel Benn was just a strong young man. Was knocking out everybody at that time. He fought Michael Elijah, Sunlight Williams, James the Heat Kinchin. I was at that fight in Madison Square Garden. Kinchin didn't have to take that fight. He was ranked number 1 for Marvin Haglin's title, and he wanted to stay busy. And he fought Barkley, and Barkley upset him. But he also fought Robbie Sims, who was Marvin Haglin's half-brother, Wilfred Scipione, and Tony Harrison. Remember June 6, 1988, Las Vegas Hilton Center. WBC middleweight champion Thomas Hearns. I'll never forget that. 3rd round knockout. Richard Steele was the referee. Steps in, but he saw Thomas Hearns had no more. And Aaron Barkley, to me, was a fascinating fighter. I just wanted to reminisce Aaron Barkley's career. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Salute to my subscribers. Salute to Aaron the Blade Barkley. Wow, well, he would have had a good time if he was fighting today. Amazing. Salute.